The sky was dark. Stars were shining like tiny eyes in the cold universe. In the middle of space, a ship called Avalon 9 was floating silently. Inside, 30 humans were on their way to a new planet. They were scientists, engineers, and explorers. Their mission was simple: study new planets, find life, and return to Earth, but something went wrong. Without warning, alarms began to scream. The red lights flashed. The ship shook violently. "System failure. Engine 1 is down," shouted the pilot. Captain Lyra, the leader of the mission, ran to the control panel. "Stabilize it. Send a distress signal to Earth," she ordered, but it was too late. The ship broke through an unknown planet's atmosphere. Fire covered the sides. People screamed. Then silence. When Lyra opened her eyes, everything was quiet. Smoke filled the air. The front of the ship was gone. Trees, tall and glowing, surrounded the broken metal. She stood up, her leg bleeding, but she didn't care. She looked around. Some people were still alive, some were crying, some were helping others out of the wreckage. Dr. Ellen, the colony's lead biologist, limped toward Lyra. "We single quotes read on any map. The star system doesn't match." Lyra's heart sank. She looked up. The sky was red, and the sun was large and purple. It wasn't Earth. It wasn't even close. They were lost. By the second day, the survivors built a small base using ship parts. They made shelters and fires. Food was limited. Water was strange, but drinkable. The planet was beautiful, but dangerous. Tall, soft trees with glowing veins, plants that moved like animals. The air was rich in oxygen, but it had something else. Something that made them feel different, faster, more alert. But no one understood why. Then came the noises. Every night, after the sun went down, strange sounds echoed through the forest. Clicking, whispering, hissing, but nothing came close. "Not yet. Something's out there," said Private Juno, holding his laser rifle tightly. "It's watching us. I can feel it." On day 4, a team went out to explore. They walked 1 mile from the camp. Suddenly, one of them screamed, "Kai is gone." They searched for hours, but there were no footprints. No blood, just silence. Later that night, as the survivors sat around the fire, someone pointed toward the trees. "There. Look, in the distance, near the tree line, a glowing figure stood. Tall, thin, not human. It didn't move. It just watched. Then it vanished. Fear spread like fire." Lyra stood up and spoke calmly. "No one leaves the base without permission. Stay close, stay alert. We don't know this place." As the days passed, the humans started feeling weak. Not because of hunger, but because the planet was changing them. Dr. Ellen ran tests. "There's something in the air," she said. "Tiny particles, almost like DNA, alien DNA. The trees, the water, the soil, everything was alive, and it was interacting with their bodies. But it wasn't killing them. It was connecting with them." Lyra didn't like it. "I don't want my people turning into something else. We need to stay human." But others didn't agree. "What if this is how we survive?" asked Ellen. "This planet isn't trying to kill us. It might be inviting us to stay." That night it rained. But the rain wasn't normal. It glowed blue and smelled sweet. People stood outside, letting it touch their skin. Suddenly, someone screamed again, "He's back! Kai's back!" Everyone rushed to the gate. Kai, the man who had disappeared, was standing there, but he was different. His eyes were silver. His skin had soft glowing lines. And he smiled like nothing had happened. "Where did you go?" Lyra asked. Kai looked at her and said only one word, "Home." Everyone froze. Before anyone could ask more, a noise came from the trees again. This time, louder. From the fog, more shapes appeared, tall, glowing, silent. Watching. The humans stood together, holding weapons, scared and confused. Captain Lyra stepped forward. "Who are you?" she whispered. One of the shapes moved. Then, in broken English, it spoke, "You are not alone." The night was heavy with silence. After Kai returned, no one slept. He sat near the fire, smiling, calm. But his eyes glowed silver, and strange lines moved under his skin like rivers of light. Captain Lyra watched him from a distance. She didn't trust it. "Where were you?" she asked again. Kai looked at her, then at the sky. I was in the forest. With them, who are they? Lyra pressed. Kai's voice was soft. The ones who live here, they see everything. They've been watching us, waiting. The next morning, thick fog covered the camp. It came fast and cold. Private Juno walked. Patrol, unable to see more than a few feet ahead. Shapes moved in the mist, silent, tall, and slow. He raised his rifle. Identify yourself. He shouted. No reply. Then a whisper came, soft and echoing. Fear. Makes the mind blind. Juno turned and fired into the fog. Nothing, but when the fog lifted, strange symbols were carved into the dirt, glowing faintly. They weren't there. Before. Dr. Ellen studied the marks. Her hands shook. These aren't random. This is language. Captain Lyra gathered the survivors. We don't know what these things want. Until we do, no one goes into the forest. Stay close, stay alert. But the people were changing, quietly, deeply. Some were hearing voices at night. Some were having dreams of light, of tall beings whispering truths in unknown tongues. And Kai was no longer alone. 3 more had vanished the night before. All 3 returned the next evening, smiling, glowing, and silent. They're not dangerous, Ellen said. They're being changed, slowly, peacefully, Lyra disagreed. Peaceful doesn't mean safe. We didn't come here to become something else. On day 9, the fog returned, but this time it didn't lift. The entire camp was surrounded by it. The sky above disappeared. Everything became gray and still. From within the fog, a shape walked forward. Not a human. It was one of them. An alien. Its body was tall, almost transparent, with skin like soft crystal. Its face had no mouth, but its large eyes glowed gently. It wore no clothes, no armor. Just light. The humans aimed their weapons. The creature raised its hand, slow, calm, and pointed at Dr. Ellen. Then it spoke. The voice wasn't from its mouth, but from inside their minds. You feel the bond. She is ready. Ellen stepped forward, eyes wide. You're real. The alien bowed its head slightly. We are called the Ilari. This world is our home. You entered it without permission. But you carry the spark. What spark? Lyra asked, stepping between them. The key to healing. The alien turned to Ellen. Your biology accepts our essence. The forest chose her first, the others followed. Your kind can merge. Lyra raised her gun. Merge how? Through trust, through connection. Not by force, but by bond? The Ilari moved closer to Ellen. Their hands touched. In that instant, a pulse of blue light spread from their fingers. Everyone stepped back. Ellen's body glowed brighter. Her eyes turned silver like Kai's. She gasped, not in pain, but in shock. I can feel everything, she whispered. The trees, the ground, the sky. It's alive. It's all alive. Lyra looked shaken. Stop this. Let her go. The Ilari stepped back. She is not held. She is chosen. She can guide you or warn you. Then slowly the fog began to fade. The alien turned and walked back into the mist. The choice is yours. After the event, the camp was divided. Half. The people believed the Ilari could help them survive. The others feared them, and the humans who were now bonded, private. Juno was the first to speak against them. They're changing us, controlling us. You've seen their eyes. They're not human anymore. But Ellen argued, they saved Kai. They gave us this chance. Look around. This world isn't trying to kill us. It's inviting us to stay. Lyra stayed silent. She didn't know who to believe. That night, she walked outside alone. The stars were hidden, but the air was calm. She sat by a rock and looked at her hands. What if they're right? She whispered. Suddenly, a soft sound came from the trees. Lyra stood quickly, weapon ready. A small Ilari child stood there. No taller than her waist. It looked scared. Then it pointed behind her. Lyra turned and saw a tall Ilari adult standing just a few feet away. It wasn't glowing. It wasn't moving, but it spoke clearly. Help us, or lose everything. Lyra stepped back. What do you mean? The Ilari touched the ground. Instantly, the earth cracked slightly and steam rose. This planet is not stable. The bond is the only path. Back in camp, Ellen had a vision. In her dream, the forest was burning. The sky was falling. And a voice whispered, "One world must die for another to live." She woke up, sweating, shaking, and glowing brighter than before. Something terrible was coming, and only the bonded would survive. The camp was no longer the same. Some humans had silver eyes. Some glowed softly in the dark. Some heard voices in their dreams. Others refused to sleep at all. Fear was growing. Dr. Ellen, now bonded with the Ilari, sat in her lab tent, drawing symbols on a screen. Symbols she had never learned but somehow understood. "It's a map," she whispered to herself. "But not of this planet. It's a message." Captain Lyra watched everything closely. She trusted Ellen, but something deep inside her whispered, "Be careful." That night, Ellen called a meeting. Everyone gathered. The fire burned low, the red sky above gave no warmth. Ellen stood before the group. "The Ilari have shared something with me. This planet is alive, not just the trees or the air, but the planet itself. It's a sleeping mind, and now it's waking up." People looked confused. "What does that mean?" Juno asked, arms crossed. "It means this world was once full of life, great cities, technology beyond ours. The Ilari were the builders, but something went wrong." She showed them the strange map. "There's something deep underground." Ellen continued, "They call it the seed engine. It can heal the planet, but it needs a new key, a new life form to activate it. That's why we're here." Lyra stepped forward. "Wait, are you saying humans are supposed to fix this alien planet?" "No," Ellen said softly. "Not humans alone, not Ilari alone, but a mix, a bond." Everyone went quiet. Juno stood. "So this is their plan? Mix with us, change us, and use us like tools?" "It's not like that," Ellen replied. "They aren't controlling anyone. I chose this, so did Kai, and the others. It's peaceful. It single quotes us. Dutiful." Outside the camp, the fog rolled in again. But this time it brought no fear. A group of Ilari approached, slow and silent. Among them was a new face, one different from the others, taller, darker, with eyes like burning stars. Lyra stepped outside to meet it. "Who are you?" she asked. The being's voice was clear and strong. "Not like the others. I am Valor, last of the High Mind. I carry the ancient code of the seed." "Why now?" Lyra asked. "Why appear to us?" "Because the world is ending," Valor said simply. "And you are the final message." He raised his hand and the ground trembled. A circle of blue light appeared in the soil, a hologram of the planet. Spinning slowly, it showed cracks, storms, fires deep inside the core. "Our people made mistakes," Valor said. "We tried to shape life. We grew too proud. The planet began to die. The seed engine was made to fix it. But only a new bond, untouched by the past, can awaken it." Lyra stared at the map. "You think that's us?" Valor nodded. "You are not the answer. You are the beginning of the answer." Back in the tent, Ellen felt her hands burning. New symbols formed on her skin, not painful, but powerful. Kai looked at her. "You're becoming one of them," he said quietly. "No," Ellen replied. "I'm becoming something new." Suddenly, the hologram changed. A beam pointed to a location far from the crash site, a mountain shaped like a spiral. "That's where the seed engine sleeps," Ellen said. "We have to go there." Lyra wasn't sure. "It could be a trap. Or worse, we activate it and something worse wakes up." But Valor stepped closer. "The longer you wait, the deeper the planet dies. The forests will turn black. The sky will collapse. You will all burn, Ilari and human." That night, Lyra walked alone to the edge of the forest. She looked up. The stars were hidden again. She remembered Earth, her home, her family, her past. Then she looked at her people, some glowing, some afraid. All lost, she made her choice. At sunrise, the camp was busy. Backpacks were filled, weapons checked. Water stored. Lyra gave the order. "We move at noon. We head for the mountain." "No more waiting," Juno argued. "You're risking all of us for a machine you don't understand." "We're already dying," Lyra said. "At least this gives us a purpose." As they prepared, the bonded humans gathered with the Ilari. They didn't speak. Much, they didn't need to. There was a quiet understanding between them now, something deeper than words. Before they left, Ellen found a message carved near the ship wreckage. She didn't write it. No one did. It read, "The child of stars and soil will rise. The bond is the bridge. The bridge is the key." They began their journey through strange forests, across glowing rivers, past ruins of cities long gone, and behind them, the fog followed. Watching. Waiting. Asterisk. The jungle was alive, not with sound, but with presence. Every leaf seemed to breathe. Every step echoed like a whisper. As the group moved deeper into the alien forest, silence wrapped around them like a cold fog. Captain Lyra led the way, her weapon ready, eyes scanning the strange red trees. Behind her walked Dr. Ellen, Kai, and 6 others, half of them now. Glowing faintly in the dark, they were changing. And the change was speeding up. 3 days into the journey, they set up camp near a glowing river. The water shimmered with soft blue light and gave off a humming sound, almost like singing. Juno stood by the riverbank, watching Ellen carefully. "You're not even blinking anymore," he said. Ellen turned to him slowly. Her eyes were now fully silver without pupils. "I don't need to," she replied. Juno stepped back. "This isn't normal. You're not human anymore." Kai, also changed, stepped forward. "We are still us, Juno, just more." But Juno wasn't convinced. That night, Ellen couldn't sleep. Her skin felt hot. Her heartbeat was faster. Then she began to see things, not dreams, but visions. A great machine deep under the mountain, pillars of light, the seed engine, pulsing like a heartbeat. And voices, thousands of them, whispering in unison, "You are the bridge?" When she woke, her hands had grown long, glowing lines. Her fingertips were leaving trails of light in the air. She felt no pain, only power. Lyra noticed everything. She wrote a log on her tablet. Day 14, Ellen's body is changing faster now. Her voice is calmer, more confident. Others are showing early signs, glowing veins, soft light from the chest. They say they feel stronger, faster. I believe them. But I also see distance in their eyes, like they're not fully here anymore. I don't know if we're walking into salvation or extinction. The next day they reached an old ruin, broken stones, half-buried structures, and strange symbols across the walls. Ellen touched one of the stones. Her body pulsed with energy. "I can read this," she whispered. "What does it say?" "Lyra," asked Ellen. Traced the words slowly. "It says ... born of 2, mind of 1. Chosen not by blood but by balance." Suddenly the ground shook. A wall slid open, revealing a chamber below. Inside, large glass tubes, long dead. "Bones of something human-like, but not quite. They tried before," Kai said quietly. "But they failed. That night something terrible happened. One of the humans, a young man named Aaron, who had just begun to glow, screamed in his sleep. He convulsed. His body lit up. His veins turned black. By the time they reached him, he was cold. Ellen knelt beside him, confused. "He wasn't ready," she said. "He resisted the bond." Lyra looked down at Aaron's face. It was peaceful now, but empty. "Then this bond isn't just a gift," she said. "It's a risk." The group kept moving. They passed through mist-covered valleys, caves that hummed with strange energy, and trees that seemed to watch them. One morning, a child named Rena, the youngest in the group, ran up to Lyra, laughing. "Look," she said, and opened her hand. A tiny plant was growing from her palm, alive, soft, glowing. "It doesn't hurt," she smiled. "It likes me." Lyra forced a smile back. But inside, she felt fear. They were only 3 days away from the mountain. Now, the Alari walked silently beside them, offering no advice, no warning. Only watching, Valor finally spoke. "The mutation is not just physical," he said. "It is choice. Those who accept it will live. Those who fight it will break." Lyra snapped. "We didn't come here to be remade. We came to survive." Valor nodded. "Survival is transformation." That night the sky cracked. A strange storm formed, lightning without thunder, clouds that glowed from within. The planet itself was trembling, and in the middle of the night Juno disappeared. Only his boots remained, still warm. No tracks. No sounds, no goodbye. The next morning, Ellen called for a stop. "We need to talk," she said. "I feel the seed engine. It's awake. It knows we're coming." She looked at Lyra. "You still haven't accepted the bond. You're resisting. The closer we get, the more dangerous that becomes." Lyra stayed quiet. She looked at her hands. They were shaking now, slightly glowing. Even though she hadn't accepted anything, was the planet choosing for her? As they reached the final ridge before the mountain valley, the trees opened up. And there, in the distance, stood a giant structure. Dark, round, and pulsing softly with blue light. The seed engine. Their destination, their final choice. The mountain stood like a sleeping god wrapped in blue mist. At its base, the seed engine pulsed, a massive black dome half buried in the soil, its surface glowing faintly with alien symbols. Captain Lyra stood on a ridge, watching it in silence. Behind her, the group set up their final camp. But something had changed. People no longer talked much. Some stared at the engine with wonder. Others, with fear. The line between human and hybrid was no longer clear, and for some, that was a problem. Inside the camp, Private Juno had returned, but something was off. He had no glow. No markings. No voice in his head like the others claimed. He had been hiding in the ruins for 2 days, watching, thinking. Now, he was ready. He stood in the shadows, whispering to a small group of humans who had not bonded. "They're not us anymore," Juno said quietly. "Look at them. They don't even sleep. They smile like they know something we don't. This isn't survival, it's invasion, from the inside." 3 others nodded. Fear had become a weapon. At the edge of camp, Ellen meditated. Her skin shimmered with soft light. The Alari stood. Nearby, silent, peaceful, she felt the engine calling. Not with sound, but with rhythm. Like a second heartbeat in her chest. "We're close," she said to Lyra. "Tomorrow I enter the engine. It's ready." Lyra nodded, though uneasily. "What happens if it works?" "The planet will begin to heal," Ellen said. "The bond will become permanent. Life will restart." Lyra didn't respond. A part of her wanted that. A part of her still clung to Earth, to the past, to being human. That night the stars disappeared, black. Clouds rolled in fast. The ground vibrated. Ellen stood suddenly. "The planet knows," she said. "Something's wrong." Then the explosion, a massive boom, ripped through the camp. One shelter burst into flames. Panic followed. People screamed. Fire spread. Then gunshots. Juno and his group stormed the command tent, weapons drawn. "Put down your tech," he shouted. "We're taking control. No more bonding. No more experiments." He grabbed a hybrid named Nira and threw her to the ground. Her skin cracked with light. But she didn't fight back. "We don't want war," she whispered. "You already started it," Juno replied. Lyra ran toward the chaos. "Stop this!" she yelled, but Juno pointed his rifle at her. "You let this happen, Captain. You chose them over us." "I chose survival," she shouted. "You're choosing fear." Before he could answer, Kai stepped in, faster than anyone expected. He moved like light. In seconds, Juno was on the ground, unconscious. The gun snapped in half in Kai's glowing hands. Everyone froze. The camp was quiet again. Lyra stood in the center, breathing hard. "Enough," she said. "We end this now. No more lines, no more fear. We walk forward together or we all die." The crowd said nothing, but they listened. And slowly, the fires went out. Later, Juno woke up, locked in the old Cums pod. Lyra stood outside. "You could have killed us all," she said. "You already killed who we were," Juno replied bitterly. "We're not soldiers anymore," Lyra said. "We're something else now, and maybe that's okay." The next morning, Ellen walked toward the seed engine. The ground opened slowly as she approached, sensing her presence. A wide staircase formed, made of living metal. The Ilari bowed as she passed. Lyra walked beside her. "Are you ready?" she asked. Ellen nodded. "I was chosen the moment we crashed. I just didn't know it yet." They reached the doorway. Ellen turned back one last time. "If this works, everything changes. And if it doesn't?" Lyra asked. Ellen smiled faintly. Then we were never meant to survive. She stepped inside. The chamber was vast. In the center, a glowing core floated, spinning, alive. Ellen approached. Her body reacted, veins glowing, skin pulsing with light. The engine spoke, not with words, but with memory. She saw Earth. She saw the crash. She saw her own face, split between human and Ilari. Then the voice came. "Are you whole?" She whispered. "I am the bridge." She touched the core. Light exploded. Outside, the sky changed. Clouds pulled back. The ground lit with veins of blue energy. Trees straightened. Flowers bloomed. Even Juno, in the pod, felt warmth pass through him. Kai dropped to his knees, eyes wide. "It's working," he whispered. Lyra looked up, stunned. The planet was breathing again, but it wasn't over. The mountain began to shake violently from deep within the forest. Something dark awakened. Not Ilari, not human, something old, something angry, and it was coming. Asterisk. The mountain trembled like it was alive from deep beneath. The ground, a sound rose, not loud but ancient, like a forgotten voice finally clearing its throat after sleeping for 1,000 years. Captain. Lyra stood frozen outside the seed engine, watching the forest twist unnaturally in the distance. Birds flew in circles, panicked. Trees bent as if pushed by invisible hands. The planet was changing, but not all of it was healing. Inside the engine, Dr. Ellen floated midair. Her body pulsed with pure energy. Blue light shot through the chamber walls like lightning veins. The engine had accepted her. She was no longer just Ellen. She had become the heart link, the final bridge between the Ilari, the humans, and the planet itself. The voice of the engine spoke within her. "The balance is not complete. The seed has awakened. But the shadow has risen too," Ellen gasped. "What shadow?" The engine showed her a vision. Long ago, before the Ilari learned peace, they created a force to protect the seed engine, a guardian made from the planet's core, strong, smart, merciless, but over time, that guardian, called the Nullmond, went rogue. It saw all change as a threat. It buried itself in the planet's crust, asleep, waiting. Now it had awakened. And it was angry. Outside, Lyra looked toward the forest. The sky turned deep red. Then something emerged. Tall, black, shifting like smoke and steel. No face, no eyes, just a body filled with cracks of red light. It walked slowly, but every step made the earth shake. The hybrids felt it first. Pain, pressure in their minds. Kai dropped to his knees. "It's inside our heads," he cried. "It hates us." Lyra raised her weapon. "All units to defense positions. This is not a test." Valor, the elder Ilari, stepped forward calmly. "The Nullmond has returned," he said. "It sees the bond as disease. It will erase all life. That does not fit its design. Can we stop it?" Lyra asked. Valor shook his head. "Not with weapons." Lyra narrowed her eyes. "Then how?" He looked toward the engine. "With Ellen, only the heart link can unbind the guardian. But she must survive long enough to reach its core." Suddenly, a bolt of red energy struck the outer camp. Fire erupted. People screamed. The Nullmond moved faster now, bending trees as it passed. It absorbed light as it walked, turning day into dusk. Hybrids tried to stop it, using their new powers to raise shields of light, but it shattered them with a thought. Juno, still weak but freed from the pod, ran to Lyra. "I was wrong," he said. "It's not us versus them anymore. It's all of us or none." Lyra handed him a weapon. "Then fight like you mean it." Inside the engine, Ellen saw the destruction. She saw every life as points of light. Some were already going dark. "Send me to it," she said. The engine opened a new chamber, a long tunnel of glowing vines. Leading to the core, Ellen stepped forward. Her body shimmered. She was more energy than flesh now, but her mind was clear. Outside, the battle began. Hybrids formed glowing shields to protect the camp. Humans fired from higher ground. Ilari warriors floated into the air, forming a ring of light around the mountain. But it wasn't enough. The Nullmond crushed a defensive wall with one strike. It absorbed energy. It tore through rock, and it was heading straight for the engine. Ellen reached the core chamber. It was dark. cold and silent. Then a red eye opened. Hers, not Ilari. Why do you exist? The Nullman's voice echoed inside her skull. To restore balance. She answered, there is no balance, only control. Life doesn't work like that. Then life must end. The Nullman appeared before her, not as smoke, not as a monster, but as a mirror. It looked like Ellen, only darker, empty. You are change. I am the cure. Ellen reached out. You were made to protect the world. I protect its shape, not its chaos. Ellen closed her eyes. Then light burst from her chest, forming a beam straight into the ground. The seed engine responded. Outside, the sky exploded with blue. The forest stopped shaking. The Nullman let out a roar, not of pain, but of resistance. Its body began to crack. The engine was rewriting its code, but it was not over. The Nullman charged toward the mountain, glowing with fury. It would destroy the core. And everything inside. Lyra saw it coming. No weapon could stop it, but she had one chance. She looked at Juno. Cover me. She ran toward the engine, straight into the fire, inside. Ellen stood her ground. The Nullman appeared, twisted and broken. You will end with me, it said, but Ellen wasn't afraid. She whispered, we begin with me. She let the engine take all of her energy. A light like a second sun filled the chamber. The mountain cracked. The Nullman screamed and was gone. Silence. Then birds. The sky cleared. Trees stood taller. Rivers flowed brighter. Lyra opened her eyes near the crater. The engine still stood, but Ellen was gone. Only a single flower grew in her place. Glowing softly, the world had chosen its guardian. The war was over. The mountain no longer trembled. The sky was clear, glowing softly with two suns, one above, one below. Deep in the heart of the planet, the seed engine had gone silent, but its work had begun. All around the valley, the world was changing. Trees that once whispered now sang. Rivers sparkled like liquid stars. New flowers bloomed in places where nothing had ever grown. The planet was no longer dying. It was reborn. Captain. Lyra stood at the edge of the crater, where Ellen had given herself to the core. In the center, a single flower grew, white petals, silver center, and light pulsing gently with every breeze. No one dared to touch it. Kai knelt beside it every morning. He never spoke during those moments. He just sat silently, as if waiting for her voice. Lyra watched him from a distance. She missed Ellen too, but she also knew Ellen had become more than one person could ever be. She was now part of the planet, part of its future. Ilari elders gathered around the seed engine. Valor, once the last of his kind, was now surrounded by many. Young Ilari had emerged from deep forests and hidden caves. Drawn by the awakening of the planet for the first time in generations, they were no longer hiding. They were home. Valor spoke to the humans. This world belongs to both of us now. It chose you, and you chose it. Lyra looked around. The camp had changed. No guards, no weapons in hand. People walked freely, humans and hybrids side by side. Even Juno had softened. He now taught children how to hunt, how to build, how to survive. Not with fear, but with respect. One evening, a signal returned. The communication tower, dead since the crash, lit up with a soft ping. Lyra rushed to the console. Static. Then a voice. This is Colony Ship Horizon 3. We received your distress signal. 42 years late, preparing to land in 72 hours. The room went quiet. Lyra repeated the message out loud. Some cheered. Some cried, but no one knew what to feel. Would the new humans be accepted by the visitors? Would Earth accept what they had become? That night, a council was called. Lyra stood with Valor Kai and the other leaders, human and Ilari. We must decide how to welcome them. Lyra said. Juno stepped forward. What if they fear us? What if they try to control us? Valor responded calmly. Then we show them peace. Show them what Ellen gave her life for. And if they don't want peace? Lyra looked around. Then we let them choose. Just like we did. When the ship arrived, the sky shimmered. It was massive, bright white old Earth technology. Covered in dust from long space travel. It landed slowly, stirring wind and sand across the valley. The doors opened. Humans stepped Out, blinking in the alien sunlight, they looked around at the strange, glowing world, and at the people waiting for them, people who looked human, but weren't exactly. One of the newcomers, a woman named Commander Vale, stepped forward. She stared at Lyra's silver-lined eyes, Kai's glowing hands, and the Alari standing behind them. "Are we too late?" she asked. Lyra smiled. "No. You're right on time, but this place isn't what you remember." "What happened to you?" Lyra looked around at the trees, the sky, the flower glowing in the crater. "We became part of it." The newcomers were cautious. They set up their own camp near the ship. They studied the plants, scanned the air, ran blood tests on themselves, just like the old crew once did. But something strange began to happen. They started hearing the forest, dreaming of light. Feeling drawn to the seed engine, one by one. They began to change too. Just like before, only this time, they weren't afraid. 1 month later, a new city began to rise, not of steel and glass, but of living stone, glowing roots, and flowing energy. A city shaped by two species. Children born during this time were different. Some could speak with the trees. Some could float for seconds without touching the ground. Some had silver eyes before they even learned to walk. They were the future. The true children of the stars and soil. Lyra kept a journal. She wrote, "We crashed here as explorers. We survived as strangers. We now live as something new. I don't know what Earth would call us, but this planet calls us home." Sometimes she still walked alone. Past the camp, past the river. To that flower. It never faded, never wilted. Its light pulsed like a quiet heartbeat. One evening, as the sun set behind the mountain, Kai stood beside Lyra. He looked at the flower. "Do you think she sees all this?" he asked. Lyra nodded slowly. "She doesn't just see it. She is it." They stood in silence. Then Kai smiled. "We should name this place." Lyra thought for a moment. Then whispered, "New Earth." And far beneath the soil, deep in the planet's glowing heart, the engine pulsed. Alive. Awake. At peace.